she's saying the reason why relationships are failing is because men aren't staying committed to women. And then she went and started to change that narrative and story. And I'm asking the question to get some clarity. And, it's fascinating when you talk to a gal like Angie, who's like, I just do what I want, to do for this man. Not, I want to serve him. I want to look after him. I want to make sure he's happy. And I shut up when I know I need to shut up, and I don't make his life difficult. And it's like, when I asked the girls on the panel before KC came on, what do you think a man wants? We heard some things like peace, sex, stuff like that. But the main things really is like, you just can't disrespect a man. Like if you're disrespectful to him, that's pretty much like very, very close to the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just sex; it's the best sex you've ever given him. It has to be better than anything else, right? Mind blowing, like knock your socks off kind of sex, like no holds back. And then it's just being useful in his life. And we didn't hear that from the gals earlier too when we had Shay on. It's like, I don't think women, for the most part today, understand that being useful in a guy's life is so valuable. And I think that's what Angie gets, because she knows that, she said it, like, I want to make sure my food tastes better than anything else out there. Like, why would, the point that I made to Shay was men don't leave good women, right? And I get why Angie feels comfortable in a relationship, because a guy that's successful, that has options, that's out there putting a dent in the universe, has a gal like Angie that's taking care of him, getting up early on the weekend, feeding him, making sure he's looked after, he's happy when he comes home, his stomach's full, everything's aligned. Like, I think when women get that, and I understand that there's an absence, or there's somewhat of a vacuum of the kind of men that Angie's describing, that maybe some of the other women on the panel may or may not be with, or probably aren't with, or haven't been with yet. So you have to stand on your own 2 feet, and you can't rely on a man. I get it, right? Because there are a lot of weak men out there. So men absolutely need to step up and sort their shit out. But women at the same time, they need to learn when to shut the fuck up, be useful, cook a nice meal.
If only it was that simple.
It is. It's so simple.
It's not.
It really is that simple.
No,
It
because I meet so many men who have good wives, just like what she explained. They will. I'm telling you, the men that I've met at the club who have told me themselves that they have a good wife at home. They'll show me a picture of how beautiful she is and pump her up and all this, and still come and give me their money. And she's at home cooking and cleaning, just being just as
He's not
good
leaving
housewife.
her for you.
No, not
There's
leaving her. No, I didn't say leaving. I didn't say leaving. But I'm talking about men stepping out on. Okay. I'm not saying leave. They will stay with her. No, they'll stay with her, and they'll come to the strip club.
Before we get on to that point, though, I want to put a bow on this, because this really needs to be said. I think I want to just double down on what Rich was saying. Every moment that a woman spends trying to stand on her own 2 feet, or provide for herself, or have her own money, or pursue her own things, that's not making your relationship stronger. It's making your relationship weaker. And so what you think you're doing by insulating yourself, or giving yourself this insurance policy, well, in case things don't work out, I need to have all my ducks in a row, but you are almost ensuring that it won't work out, because you would rather spend time lining the pockets of somebody else, like somebody that you work for, or you'd rather be caring for strangers in an office, or doing spreadsheets with PowerPoint presentation that nobody cares about, versus raising and taking care of children and helping perpetuate another solid generation of people. That's the issue. And then and women wonder why men don't want to deal with disagreeable or boss babe women that are highly driven and career focused, is because all of that takes priority over family and over the home life. No guy is going to want to sign up for that. It's just not what we're rooted to. And so that when women say, oh, well, I need to have a backup plan, I need to do all this, it's like every moment that you're not spending building your relationship and you're building elsewhere, you are contributing to the downfall. You are participating in the exact thing that you are trying to avoid. I don't think a lot of women understand that. And one more thing on peace, like ladies, there's not a woman on this planet that brings me peace. Okay. Peace is silence. Y'all talk way too much. So it's not about peace. Like, it's more about being useful. Bring something useful. Do something for me that I need. Be valuable. Like, my peace is silence. It's solace. It's being alone. And there's no peace that comes along when it comes to that with women. So that's all I want to say. I want to double down on that point. But yeah, we can talk about the next. It sounds like we were kind of going down the road versus like stepping out versus leaving. So I don't know if we want to touch on that, Rich.
Actually, before we continue on to something else, I wanted to ask Kayla for some feedback. So I was kind of watching your facial expression, sort of, reacting to some of that.
I think she was laughing at me.
Yeah, I mean, I just like think of like successful men that are in whatever, like George Clooney and his wife. She's a pretty ambitious woman. They seem to have a great relationship. Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. Michelle Obama is incredibly ambitious.
That's a terrible example to use.
You mean
There's
Mike?
rumors that they're going to get divorced.
Horrible examples.
But those, we don't know.
Horrible examples. What's that gal's name that's married to George Clooney, the lawyer?
I don't know, but he was the biggest bachelor on the planet for like 40 years.
She's a nobody. Her legacy is going to die off. How is that success? She's invisible.
Okay, that was a bad
I don't know these people. I don't know what they got going on.
Kayla, go ahead. Kayla, go ahead. It's okay. No, we're not trying to do a gotcha here. We're looking for answers.
Yeah, I just, I wanted to talk to you about that because like you had a look on your face and I was like, okay, so what's that about? Fill me in.
Yeah, I like firmly believe that like marriages and like unions work really well if there is like mutual respect, growth, and if both partners are ambitious. I don't think that like driven men and like ambitious men want like someone who's not like equally ambitious.
Right, but I mean, why can't you be ambitious in your own respective roles of expertise? Right,
it takes a lot of ambition to raise a kid.
Like Angie is ambitious in the sense.
Well, what if I'm not interested in raising a kid right now? I want to
fair enough, but
build a career for a few years before I have a child.
Got it, but I mean, Angie's ambitious in the sense that she's ambitious to support his purpose and his mission, so that.
And that's fine for Angie, but it's not fine for me.
Well, I think that's where society and culture is going sideways today, is that we're telling women to go out there, climb corporate ladders, be ambitious, go out and get a job and stand on your own 2 feet. But what do you do for a living again?
I'm a spa coordinator.
So what does that mean? Like, what do you do at a spa?
I communicate with guests. I do the event, and then I'm apprentice, so I'm working on clients as well. So
ultimately, at the end of the day, if you didn't do that job, would that have a negative impact on the world?
Would it have a negative impact on the world if I didn't do the job of being a spa coordinator?
Right.
Probably not, but it would have a negative impact on me because I love doing it.
Okay, but let me just stop you for a sec. Angie, what does your boyfriend do?
He owns a telecommunication business.
And what does the telecommunication business provide as far as the service?
He sells like phone system, and when you call a business and they go press 1, press 2, that's what he does. Like she sells those.
Okay, so business to business type of solution.
Yeah,
so
B2B.
Okay, so if that business folded tomorrow morning, would that cause problems?
Yeah, of course.
Probably, right? So, like, you see the difference here, right? Like being ambitious. I think that a woman's greatest calling, greatest ambition should be to find a top shelf man, serve him, and allow him to become the best version of himself.
Yeah.
Right. But like, I think that, the narrative that's been told to women that you should go out there and, stand on your own 2 feet and like.
I just don't understand why a woman wouldn't be able to do both of those things. I mean,
It,
I
it,
only work,
you
I
can
only work
try.
like
It
3
just
or
doesn't
4
really
days
work
a
out very
week.
well.
Like if I were to have a child, I would be able to take care of a child.
Well, that's what you
Working
say
3
right
or
now,
4
but I
days a
think
week?
what most women do is that they'll end up dropping the kids off at a daycare center to go to work to earn the money to pay the daycare center, while these nobodies that don't really give a shit about your child are supposedly looking after them, marching them through for nap time, for playground time, for poopy time, for snack time, where they feed them like cheese squares and all kinds of dog shit. Like, you see what I'm saying, though, right? Like,
Well,
this is usually the life that most children go through when moms decide to prioritize career, then motherhood, then career. It's like the system raises their kids.
that is a good and school my children. I chose to homeschool my children, and I started a private school. So had a time period where I owned my own school ages 2 to 18. And that was my way of balancing out, okay, I do want to give something meaningful to the world by having a school and also be able to spend time with my own kids. So it served both purposes, and I could be driven. I had to get, certifications. I had to get a building. So I was able to have drive and also spend time with my kids as well. I do agree that you can have both, but that's not the normal. If the woman
I
is
don't
working
know.
out,
I don't know
that's
any. I don't know any woman out there that's successfully done relationship, mom, wife, and career. I just haven't seen it. I mean, this weekend I'm in the British Virgin
How
Islands
do
right
you
now.
like define successful?
Well, let me just finish telling
and
the
how
story.
would you get to see them? Because they probably busy.
Yeah, well,
They're probably
Right.
not
I'm
on
about to
social
give you an
media.
example. Well, I'm about to give you an example, right? I'm down in the British Virgin Islands. It's a mastermind, yachting trip adventure around for 5 days, and there was 18 entrepreneurs, and some of the guys brought their gals with them. And there's an intro session that we do at the beginning. Who are you? Where do you live? What do you do for a living? Basically a quick 3 to 5 minute sort of intro. And this one gal who was there with her guy, who was a videographer and a guy that helps build YouTube channels. Shout out to Matt. I don't know if he's watching right now, but his girl says, "Hey, I'm here to support my man. He's basically retired me. I'm his assistant this weekend. I'm going to run the mics and all this sort of stuff. And that's it. And that's why I'm here. That to me is a strong, successful relationship, and they have clear defined roles, and she sees his purpose as important and wants to support it. And again, ladies, like, I understand, like, there's a lot of weak soft pussies out there. There's not a lot of strong men that women have the opportunity to want to like lean into and want to serve them. But I think at the same time, uh, there's still a lot of guys out there that are looking for that. And I just don't see, the question was, what do you define as successful? Was it
Yeah, successful like
what I just described
relationship
there?
if a woman is like doing all
Yeah.
of those things.
Yeah. So what I just described there, and what Angie has with her boyfriend, I think that's a better model of a successful relationship where both parties feel fulfillment in that model. I mean, look at Angie. I mean, she's here voluntarily. She's an attractive woman, objectively. She does what she wants for this guy. She's happy with it. She feels secure. She doesn't feel unsecure. There's no, I need a ring, I need babies, I need whatever. A long list of demands. Nothing's changed in the last year since they've been together, right? So, like, you've got a model here on the show right now.
Rich, I'm curious, what do you think, or what's your opinion of a relationship like Alex and Layla Hermosi?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know a ton about them personally, only just the stuff that I've seen them put out on social media. She's your strong, driven, boss bitch kind of gal, very masculine, even though she looks, I mean, if you look at a still photograph of her, you'd say, I think most guys would say that's an attractive woman. But when you kind of like see her move about and you see that big ass fucking tattoo down her back, the way that she talks with the deep voice and the movement sort of thing, she's very masculine. So that's not for me. Like I wouldn't do that. And they seem to be prioritizing acquisitions, businesses, acquiring money. I think they've overtly stated they're not going to have children. So, it seems to be working right now. But again, it's like it's working right now sort of thing until it doesn't.
I think you're right about that on the children thing. I think I've heard them say that children, at least for the foreseeable future, is not on their radar.
Yeah, which I just don't understand. It's like, like how many more businesses do you need to acquire? How many more tens of millions or billions of dollars, do you need in your portfolio? Like, what's the end strategy with the whole ambition thing? You know what I'm saying?
All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel, hit subscribe.